which is also ironically part of the reason why I won't be that overwhelmingly critical of him either in this situation. You see the Frogan and Ludwig drama? I did not. I saw like parts of it. Guys, you have to remember when I'm not live and, you know, I just am with my family and whatever, I'm like very offline. So I don't fully know exactly what's going on. Frogan is in the wrong here, to be fair. She's upset. Let other content creators are paying attention to Palestine now rather than when you and others started covering it. A bit purity testing. I don't know what she said, but I doubt that that was what she said. Ludwig did make a stupid statement. I don't even know what he actually said. I don't fully understand what Ludwig said. I think it was probably in line with what I just mentioned, though, of him like trying to do the right thing while simultaneously be brand friendly.
Only donated 10K.
Yeah, he asked me a while back, like, what's a good charity to donate to?
Because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate.
Leave both Frogan and Lud alone. Jesus Christ. I don't like Frogan's response to this. I think Ludwig said something without realizing that is like genuinely offensive for a lot of people. Not entirely certain what he did, but I think he basically said something along the lines of like, oh, I didn't want to join the creator, YouTube creator thing. That's not the bad part. It's offensive. Does anyone have the full clip so I can like get a better understanding of what it is?
I find ultimately, like, if I were to do it.
Oh, here it is. This is it. Yeah. Here's the dude doing a great thing that's way better than the vast majority of people are doing, but people get mad at him because it doesn't pass the purity test. Insanity. Lud's style is also not to spend 6 hours on an issue, but to stay something concise, which he did here.
A charity thing where the charity thing relies on your donations. It should be something where like 95% of people feel good and are down for it. And like ultimately, regardless of what you think, that is.
I think it would have been better if he just didn't mention this part at all and was like, yeah, I donated 10 grand to the PCRF, like you should too. That's great. And then moved on. It's because he's capitulating to the Zionists. If he said, I'm going to donate, you should too, it'd be fine. Yeah, exactly. But then he goes on and is like, oh, well, you know, I don't have the bandwidth to be able to like duke it out with people, saying that these charities are going to like fund Hamas rockets or whatever. It's like, okay, but at that point, like, why address that? If he had just said, like, I just gave 10 grand, I just gave 10 grand to charity, it's great, you should too, and he moved on, literally, who the f is gonna get mad at him for that? You know, this isn't an issue with leftists. Your chat is pure Snow White. It's a brown person who is directly being affected by Israel's genocidal campaign. Frogan gets to be mad at her people being bombed. What the f are you talking about, chat? Yeah, I haven't even gotten to that aspect yet. Not gonna lie, this whole shit is DGG doctored, and I hate that you capitulate and have to talk about it like it's on the day's docket. Yeah, I know.
Not situation here. So I personally donated 10K because I think it is worthwhile. And if you guys got some extra bread, I would recommend you donate. But I won't throw it on you. You know what I mean? No thanks. And some people are going to say that. You know what I mean? That's why it's the difference between like, hey, I can put my money where my mouth is, but I don't need to put your money there. I don't need to enter a debate about whether that's worthwhile. I can just tell you what I'm doing because I have a future charity thing planned, but like ultimately I decided to go with the classic No Kid Hungry because, well, one, I really like that organization, but two, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on it.
Yeah, it said it was doing a charity soon, feed the children and save the children org. They're helping in Gaza anyway, so I'm confused why Frogan reacted that way. No, it's because I know why Morgan reacted that way. I mean, I don't even know how she reacted. I think shit is a cracker ass take or something. Is that what she said? Now everyone's like mad again because despite being white, Morgan is hijabi, you know, a visibly Muslim woman. So of course, like that's a perfect target to unload anytime anybody feels some type of way, especially when she is personally being anti-white. How dare she, right? And a dirty Arab. Don't forget that. Exactly. So I think that's where that's, you know, usually where a lot of this stuff comes from. Is Ludwig now the enemy or what? No, of course not. I don't personally think so. I think that the reason why people get mad at Ludwig is because like, or the reason why Morgan got mad at Ludwig and other people got mad at Ludwig is specifically because he said the second part. Like, I donated 10 grand, but I don't want to debate this issue with you guys. I want to do something that like 95% of my community agrees on. It's like, dude, you would never do that for like Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? Even though I actually don't know if he did do that for Black Lives Matter or not. Maybe he did. Maybe he was like, yeah, I don't know. Some people are saying all lives matter, so I don't want to donate. Or I do want to donate, but I'm not going to ask you guys to donate as well. But overall, this is a good thing. He did a good thing. He promoted it as well. No, he didn't do that for BLM. Okay, well, yeah. It's just like the reason why people get mad at something like that is because people think, "Look, what do you mean? You're like worried that you're gonna upset like 5% of your community that's going to be like, yeah, you're literally a terrorism defender now because you gave victims of ethnic cleansing money." Like, that's insane. Those people are going to get mad at him regardless, even though he gave 10 grand. You know what I mean? Those people are still going to get mad at him that he like publicly donated. The reason why people on the other side get frustrated with him though is that like awareness is very important in a time like this, and capitulating to the other side with framing that is like readily available to all, right? Across the board, all the time, readily available in mainstream media, repeating it by, making it seem like there are some validity to the concerns coming from the other side is bad. It's not a good thing to say. You kind of like end up owning your own point. But it's a good thing that he donated. That's my position. Obviously, it's a good thing that he donated. It's a good thing that he even asked others to donate. I would just wish he wouldn't have said the other thing, and his community seemingly is very much happy with it too. I think he means well, but he's scared about people attacking him and his brand, which I guess makes sense. He's got lots of crazy Zionist supporters. I know. Two wrongs don't make a right. He was bad in trying to appeal to everyone and not take a real solid stance, but Frogan should have called him that. No, I don't give a shit about like someone being called a cracker, okay? As someone who is white and has like used that word myself, I think that people that are using that to be like, this is a racial slur against white people is like ridiculous. Like, I mean, dude, Morgan is Lebanese, but also like very white passing, okay? It's just that when you put the hijab on, immediately no white person will ever consider you to be white. Just like when a lot of people find out my name is Hasan and then decide I am no longer white. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So ultimately, I think it's silly. It's silly to be like super mad about that. I have the pass. Yeah, she's 50% European. There you go. I think we expect more from people like Ludwig because we know that he's a good person. I mean, look, this is a dude who literally didn't go to what was it, Saudi Arabia or Dubai or whatever with Red Bull because his community was going to yell at him, right? That's a literal brand unfriendly stance to take in that situation, right? His brand is like shipping his ass out there. And he's like, you know what? I don't want to do this because my community's not going to like it. So it's not like, I'm sure there were plenty of people in his community, the 5% that would have liked him to go. And I think that's what it is. That's why some people were frustrated. But like I said, I think that like getting mad at him is disappointing to a certain degree to mention that like 5% are going to not appreciate what kind of charity that you're funding. But there's going to be 5% for any charity, unless you're like literally trying to feed starving children, I guess, but like non-specific. Here's a charity that we're feeding starving children of non-specific origin. Anyway, this is being blown out of proportion, and I'll be honest, like it's being blown out of proportion for everybody. Lud is very much LTT like, and he clearly treats stream as a business. He's just being much more open about it than most. Yeah, like Ludwig giving 10 grand to a charity and urging his viewers to donate. Period. Right there, end the conversation right there. Who the f is gonna get mad at that? If you still turn around and you're like, oh, he's a bad person or whatever, you're wrong, right? The additional capitulation to the potential 5% that will say that he's like funding Hamas or whatever and not wanting to have to deal with all of that or to deal with the brand fallout as a consequence of that is unnecessary for him to mention because it ultimately goes against the main point that he's making. Gonna keep it a buck. I'd rather have celebrities that know what they're talking about when it comes to Palestine. I wouldn't want someone that doesn't understand and look at what's going on to speak up because it takes one celeb to say the wrong thing to easily tarnish the movement as a whole. Yeah, except Ludwig does know what the come on, dude. Like I think he's much more well-read than the average person. She was being sarcastic. I was in the stream and Lud barely cared. It's just his chat that freaked out. Yeah. But now it'll be like a much larger thing. It will turn into like a larger saga because like, let's be real. Like I said, Morgan is an easy target because a lot of people would just be like, look at her chirping. Look at her chirping at someone who's an ally to a good guy, right? Because he's not sufficiently pro-Hamas, But I get it. And of course, on the other end of this conversation, many people don't understand that like when you're in the crosshairs of a lot of other like apolitical audiences, the impact on you as a person is awful because these people that come into your chat aren't just simply being like, well, you know what? I think that as a activist myself, I have a real disagreement in the way that you went after Ludwig. I find it to be personally unproductive to yell at someone. I do understand where he was coming from, and I think that it was wrong for him to say that, the second part especially. But spending any amount of time getting mad at him when there are people who would never donate a single cent and routinely actually, operate on the other end of that spectrum, advocating for Israel and lying about Palestinians is probably a much more productive aspect of this conversation to be had, is not exactly the DMs that Morgan is receiving currently. She's being called a sand N-word who needs to die, and being fat shamed and being doxxed and all this shit. So it's not like the people that come after her are coming after her because they are also personally invested in the pro-Palestinian cause. And these people are not all in these people are not in Ludwig's community at all, in my opinion. I doubt that there are any massive Ludbuds out there who on a heel, just on a dime flip and go, "F you bitch, kill yourself," or whatever. There's just a lot of people in the space that are really, really, really invested in the drama. Okay. And they're paying attention all the time. Folks are just tied up in virtue signaling their leftism. They can't give anyone the benefit of the doubt. She made herself the target. Stop excusing poor behavior. Yelled at Lud for not being pro-Palestine enough. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Actually, I'm sorry. Morgan does deserve to be yelled at by everyone who's, calling her a sand N-word in her DMs and stuff. Yeah, this guy's correct. She made herself the target. Stop excusing the poor behavior. Not saying deserve racist comments. Come on, bro. Well, that is literally what it turns into. You understand that, right? That is all this is. It's not like someone is being oh yeah, I don't think that is the best possible way to go about doing activism. It's you falling for a bait because someone turned this into the main point of contention. Why did they turn this into the main point of contention? Well, because oftentimes there are a lot of people who like tugging on the drama strings very well. Okay. You are being duped into getting upset. I do not know what Frogan's overall attitude is on Ludwig, but I doubt that she hates him, or I doubt that she thinks he's like a piece of shit or anything like that. Intentionally misunderstanding what he said. Chatter is right. Hustle, not what he said. Guys, in a situation like this, even if I disagree with the amount of energy placed on Ludwig, although I do think that what Ludwig said is like ridiculous and he shouldn't have said the second part at all, I'm not going to go out of my way to be like, oh my God, I'm going to engage in this pile on and be like, yeah, you're actually in the wrong when, your family members are being bombed in Lebanon by Israeli forces. Oh shit, dude. Hey, you know who I'm going to yell at right now? The person whose family members are under fire by Israeli rockets. What the are you guys thinking? You know what I mean? What are we thinking? And no, I'm not talking about Ludwig's family, okay? What are you saying? What do I always say about trans people or black people who sometimes will not appreciate your allyship and say that you're a white supremacist or say that you are transphobic? They say that to me all the time, and it doesn't matter, okay? I'm not going to drop it and be like, all right, you know what? I'm transphobic now. F you. Because trans people decided that I'm transphobic for what I said about Hogwarts or whatever. I don't think a lot of people have personally internalized or understood what it's like to be a visibly Muslim person since October 7th. Okay. Chatters don't understand that as Arabs, I can't just stay out of it. It's annoying. I can't fence it because my existence is inherently political. That's why the second part sucks. Yeah. There are absolutely going to be instances where someone who you are in solidarity of, someone who is on your side is going to say some shit and say shit about me too that I don't appreciate. Okay. But it doesn't matter. Your opinion shouldn't change. And you should always think about the broader context. It's a bad look, period, man. I hope that clip of her does not blow up on social media. It hurts the cause. And your long-winded defense of her won't have the same reach as her shit take. Okay, but you're willingly saying, I understand what you're saying, but she's still wrong. Okay? What's happening here? Hurts the cause. Yeah, dude, it hurts the cause. We should actually yell more at again, a visibly Muslim woman whose family members are in direct crosshairs of Israeli rocket fire, who's been, endlessly being harassed with incredible amounts of Islamophobia that we will never understand, especially if you're not Arab or Muslim personally. Let's go yell at her instead. Okay, yeah, she had a bad moment, I don't give a shit. Do you understand? I hope you get why I'm saying this. I don't like when people go above and beyond and get real aggro on people who are on our side. I don't think that's productive at all. But I definitely do have, I guess, less smoke and less criticism, especially when they're in the crosshairs by people who are otherwise apolitical but invested in the drama in and of itself. Okay? Be smart. Which is ironic because, like, if you were to look at what Ludwig is doing, I suspect that he will not, like, go after Morgan and shit on her when he easily could, right? He's like, why are you coming after me? I donated $10,000. I'm an ally. Like, well, you don't appreciate like my allegiance, my allyship. You know why he won't do that? Because he understands the thing I'm talking about. Do you see what I mean? He gets it, which is also ironically part of the reason why I won't be that overwhelmingly critical of him either in this situation. Not because he's my friend and I'm cowardly at not calling out my friends or anything like that. I do call out my friends when I feel like they've done something that I don't agree with. Okay? No, it's because it's your friend. Everyone is less harsh with friends. Sorry. Sure. It has nothing to do with the fact that I don't think his heart is in the wrong place, even though he did say something that's like f***ed up and I don't think he should have said. The problem with some chatters is that they refuse to understand what Lud did wrong. Oh yeah. Well, that's why I started off with that side of the conversation first. Ultimately, a lot of people are invested not in the actual causes, the actual issues, but the drama that comes from taking a stance on these issues. And then they move the conversation in a direction that they're comfortable having, which is the discourse surrounding like someone calling a white person a cracker. Like that's a awesome combo to have. If I'm a relatively apolitical person who likes to cut content that's like sometimes slanted on the right, oh, that's like, thank you for this gift. I will talk about this for a week, you know, maybe even longer. That's it. Chatters are angry at Frogan for the optics, but also want you to shit on her harder for a take. Exactly. Do you think the discourse that comes out of the broad spectrum of internal critiques and standards hurts or furthers causes over time? Does it service internal issues faster or move the needle faster? It depends. Funny because, like I said, I like both of the people on this supposed drama. I don't think that both of these people have like legitimate anger towards one another, like real anger towards one another. It's all people on the sidelines eating good and their audiences that are greatly elevating this topic. This is all Ludwig had to say about Frogan's response.
But I don't need to put your money there. I don't need to enter a debate about whether that's worthwhile. And the only thing I can say is actually a huge shout out. I didn't mention this when I first did my donation. It was a couple weeks ago. It was because of the student protests. Because I was pretty out. Like I was basically just head down doing my thing, not really consuming much news about Israel-Palestine. But then after the student protests, I did a lot of research and I started looking at a lot of shit. And then I started looking around what a good charity would be. So I think the way that they went about it, the students, was sick. I think that's like a cool thing that happened. And it feels like, it made me feel like, damn, that probably is the right side of history. In general, betting on students is not a bad bet to make.
Damn, dude. He seems to be very upset. He seems to be very hurt and very upset about Frogan saying that was a cracker ass take. He's holding back the tears. He's look at him. This is a much better statement. I wish he literally just said this. Yeah. In the same stream, he told his chat to never act like his personal army for anything. It was about the D stuff, though, but the same deal. Yeah. That's why you won't see his fans going into Morgan's stream and calling her a sand N-word. You know what I mean? That's it. So stop getting duped by people who love farming drama, who don't have a real stance on this stuff, and are just like looking at it from the outside.